Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Go Cubs, go! Not a joke! Hey Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are headed for the playoffs today. Oh yes! The Cubbies are headed to the NL playoff picture to play the St. Louis Cardinals. Could Marty McFly and the Back to the Future people be absolutely correct? They're not going to play Miami, of course, because Miami's in the same division. Could this be the year for the Cubs? Who was the one that picked the Cubs the last couple days to win? Who was surprised at the Cubs and their performance last night and how bad the Pirates were last night? Who was thrilled to see the NHL back in action last night? And who was thrilled that the New York Rangers beat the Chicago Blackhawks last night? No hands? No hands? Yeah. Surprise, in the words of Gomer Pyle. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And I love you guys, and welcome to this Thursday edition of All Andy Alfred, right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of Clay Fan 2-3. I am your host, Andy Alfred, welcoming you into the program, welcoming you into the Man Cave Studios on this, the Thursday, the 8th of October, 2015. As we have a lot to get into today, of course, we are not doing a show tomorrow. Usually we do a show Monday through Friday. But with tomorrow being the start of the Blue Jackets home season and the regular season, yours truly will be heading down to the beautiful capital city of Columbus, Ohio, to see the Columbus Blue Jackets take on the New York Rangers. So tomorrow there will be no show. Stay tuned to our Twitter feed. Follow me on Twitter. It is at AllAndyAlfred. We're going to be taking video, taking pictures, and so much more. What's going to happen tomorrow night at 200 West Nationwide Boulevard. I cannot wait. The start of the 2015-2016 NHL season for our Columbus Blue Jackets. But today on the program, we're going to break down what happened last night in the NHL and preview tonight's games as well, too. We also will talk a little bit about what we saw last night at the Celeste Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio, where the Cleveland Cavaliers were a loser to the Atlanta Hawks. We'll talk a little bit about that, as well as previewing the NFL game tonight, Thursday Night Football, between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Also, college football. We'll talk a little bit about that, too. We got a full slate on this program today, but first and foremost, go Cubbies! Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win! Hi there! This is Harry Carey, reincarnated in Andy Alfred. I have to tell you, Jake Arrieta was a fantastic outing last night in the PNC ballpark. Hey, do you all have PNC as a bank? I tell you, I really don't like those banks. They're awesome. I just love Arrieta. I love Pabst Blue Ribbon. I tell you, the Cubbies looked for real last night. Rizzo looked good. The 1-2 combination were great. After that, they looked lights out. They looked like a bunch of stars out there. They did not look great. As the Harry Carey trying to get into Andy Alfred. So stop it, Harry. It's my show. If you wanted your show, you still should be alive. But the Cubs were a winner last night, 4-0. And Jake Arrieta gets a stunning game for him. Stop it. Stop it. Absolutely stop it. It's a simple question, Andy. Would you eat the moon if it made of ribs? This again? Just say yes, we'll move on. Arrieta gets the win, he goes to 1-0. Garrett Cole gets the loss, he goes to 0-1 with a 7.20 ERA as the Pittsburgh Pirates, a 98-win team, eliminated from the playoffs. Dexter Fowler homered, his first of the year. Kyle Schwarber homered for the Cubbies, his first of the playoffs. as the Cubs prevail 4-0 in front of a ruckus crowd at PNC Ballpark. And halfway through the game, Arrieta threw and got plunked. The bench is cleared. This builds the rivalry back up, folks. The Pirates and the Cubs hate each other, and now it's going to be the Cubs hate the Cardinals. Can they pull the upset? It's possible. It is possible. We'll see what happens with that. But we had one game already end this afternoon. 7:30 start time tonight for the Houston Astros taking on Kansas City. We'll preview that game here momentarily. But the Texas Rangers getting a 1-0 series lead over the Toronto Blue Jays as they win their game 1 5-3. Giovanni Gallardo gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA. David Price, the loss, he goes to 0-1 with a 6.43 ERA. Dyson, his first save of the year. Texas homers for Carreros and Ordo, their first, and Jose Bautista homer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Good sized crowd on hand during an afternoon game in Toronto. It had to be a solid crowd at the Rogers Center this afternoon. But tonight it will be game 1 of the ALDS between the Houston Astros and the Kansas City Royals. McHugh on the hill for Houston. He's 19-7 with a 3.69 ERA in the regular season. It'll be Ventura on the hill for Kansas City. He's 13-8 with a 4.08 ERA. 7:30 start time. You can watch that game on Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports 1. Tomorrow it is a full slate of games in the major leagues for playoffs. 12:30 will be Texas versus Toronto in Game 2. Texas up 1-0. Cole Hamels 13-8 with a 3.65 ERA. Stroman will get the start for Toronto. He is 4-0 with a 1.67 ERA. 12:30 start time for that one. Scott Kazmir will start for Houston in Game 2 of the series in Kansas City at 3:30. Kazmir 7-11 with a 3.10 ERA. He'll take on Johnny Cueto, who is 11-13 with a 3.43 ERA. Then 6:30 in St. Louis at Busch Stadium, it will be John Lester on the hill, 11-12 with a 3.34 ERA versus John Lackey, who is 13-10 with a 2.77 ERA. 6:30 start time for that one, and the concluding game on Friday will be the Mets taking on the Dodgers. DeGrom 14-8 with a 2.54 ERA, taking on Clayton Kershaw, who is 16-7 with a 2.13 ERA. 9:30 start time for that one on Friday. Looking at two games on Saturday. 5:30 start times. Hendricks versus Garcia as the Cubs take on the Cardinals. Syndergaard will start for Game 2 for the Mets versus Zach Greinke. Sunday sees Kansas City hosting Kansas City on the road to take on Houston. Volquez versus Kunkel. And Texas will be hosting Toronto in the 8 o'clock game for that one for Game 3. And then we have the to be determined on Monday. Game 4 probables have not been announced yet for those. The Cubs having a home game, it will be Waka versus Arrieta on Monday. And then the Mets hosting the Dodgers. That's Anderson versus Harvey. Let's see how much Harvey will be on a pitch count for this game. So tonight, of course, like I said, Kansas City taking on Houston. 8 o'clock start time in Kansas City. So, with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about what we saw last night on the ice. And by the way, the Cubs blew the ratings in Chicago out of the water. 28.4 million people. Their rating was a 28.4. For the Blackhawks home opener, 4.6. Not good. Not good. Not good at all. But looking at the NHL last night in the National Hockey League, it was the Toronto Maple Leafs getting their first loss of the year as they lose to the Montreal Canadiens, the Le Club de Hockey of Montreal, as they lose 3-1. Max Pacioretty gets 2 goals in the game, his first and second. James Van Riemsdyk his first, but Alex Galchenyuk gets the game winner. Carey Price to win. Jonathan Bernier with the loss. It was also in Vancouver, in Chicago. The banner raising ceremony went perfect as well, but the party was immediately crashed by the New York Rangers, and the Rangers look good. Worry about Friday now, little bit, just a little bit. Oscar Lindbergh gets his first NHL professional goal. Kills the party for Chicago. As the Hawks lose 3-2. It was Derek Stepan and Kevin Klein getting goals in the first period to go up 3-1 on the Chicago Blackhawks. In the second, it was Taro Tirana, his first, but Henrik Lundqvist gets a win. Corey Crawford the loss. And then you had the late games. Vancouver going into Calgary. And if you haven't seen their NHL preview show, go watch it now. Go watch it now. I'll wait. You can pause this one, come back to it. Just a second. But Vancouver was in Calgary, and Calgary had predicted to be number 3 overall in the Western Conference this year in the Pacific Division. Laid a big old egg on me. They lose to Vancouver 5-1. Now, it's just the first game of the year. It's not over-dramatic Monday like I'm going to be doing on Monday's edition of All Andy Alfred, because it's the NFL and the NHL. But you'll have 2 games under the docket. But Yuri Hudler gets a goal for Calgary in the second period, and that was the only lone goal for Calgary. Sedin, Boros, Sutter, Henson all scored for Vancouver. Ryan Miller gets the win, and Ramo gets the loss. Then you had the game in LA between the Kings and the Sharks, and that was a very, very good game until San Jose blew it out of the water in the second period. 2 unanswered. Burns and Harrell gets the game winners. San Jose cruises to a 5-1 victory over the LA Kings. The one goal for the Kings is Nick Storer. He scored the first goal of the season for the Kings, and the Kings could not recover. So the Kings lose. The Hawks lose, the Leafs lose, and Calgary loses. All teams that I predicted to go to the playoffs. Tonight on the docket, it will be Winnipeg taking on the Boston Bruins in Boston. It will be Ottawa taking on Buffalo. The debut of Jack Eichel. We'll see how this kid performs this year. On the docket, 7:30 start times tonight will be Philadelphia in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay raising the Eastern Conference banner tonight. At 8 o'clock in St. Louis, one of the games to watch. Connor McDavid, the number 1 overall draft pick, begins his superstar debut against the St. Louis Blues. 8 o'clock start time for that game. Watch that game on FSN Mountain Midwest, if you haven't, or on NHL Game Center. 8 o'clock start time, Nashville will take on the Carolina Hurricanes. 8:30 start time, the debut of Phil Kessel in a Pittsburgh Penguins jersey for the regular season. He'll take on the Dallas Stars, and Antti Niemi is getting the start for the Dallas Stars this evening for them. 9 o'clock on NBCSN, it will be the Minnesota Wild taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Tomorrow on the docket, besides the Jacket game against the Rangers, by the way, yet again, I will make mention of this again on the program. We will not have a show tomorrow. We will be in Columbus for the NHL opener for the Columbus Blue Jackets as they take on the New York Rangers. 4 other games on the docket on Saturday. Winnipeg taking on New Jersey. That's a 7 o'clock drop. 7:30 will be the return of Mike Babcock to the Detroit Red Wings as the Toronto Maple Leafs take on the Detroit Red Wings as the Red Wings start their home opener. 7:30 start times, the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the New York Islanders. And at 10:30 will be the LA Kings taking on the Arizona Coyotes. And then Saturday, all teams are in action on Saturday. Every team, all 30 teams, will be in action. 1 o'clock will be Buffalo's home opener to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. At 7, it will be the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Boston Bruins. Toronto is hosting Ottawa. That is a Hockey Night in Canada game, and the return of Don Cherry, one of my idols. Philadelphia is in Florida. 7 o'clock drop for that one. In New York, it will be the Rangers hosting our Jackets at 7 p.m. New Jersey in Washington. 7 o'clock for that one. 7 o'clock start will be Detroit on the road to take on Carolina. Edmonton in Nashville for their game at 7 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, it will be St. Louis taking on the Minnesota Wild. 8:30, the Islanders are in Chicago. The Hawks will try to get back on the winning page. 9 o'clock start times. It will be Dallas taking on Colorado. at 10 o'clock, the three late games. Calgary will be in Vancouver for the home opener for the Vancouver Canucks as they'll take on the Calgary Flames. And then 10 o'clock, Pittsburgh is in Arizona. 10:30, Anaheim. The Ducks of Anaheim taking on the San Jose Sharks. That Calgary-Vancouver game, the second game of the doubleheader on Hockey Night in Canada. So looking at some NHL news and notes that happened last night. So those are the games to look forward to this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Sunday, we don't have that many games going on. We will break those down for you. We'll break down the whole weekend on Monday's edition of Andy Alfred, The Islanders, however, will open up this upcoming season tonight with the game in Brooklyn on Friday night. It'll be on NHL Network and also on MSG Plus. So it will be very nice to see that happen, as it will be the new Brooklyn Islanders taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm looking forward to seeing this kid Jack Eichel tonight against the Ottawa Senators. This kid's going to be a very solid player. Hope he doesn't turn into a dud. Really hope he doesn't turn into a dud. You're watching All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me. So I adjust my hair really quick. Clay Fan 2-3. I am your host, Andy Alfred, and their show today is brought to you in part by Dr. Zuhari and Fisher's office in Rossford, Ohio. Hey, if you're in the Metro Toledo area or the Northwest Ohio area, Dr. Zuhari and Fisher's office is the key place. One location. There's no two locations like that. Dumb Frankel. Dr. Z, down to earth, cares about his patients, treats you like family with his expertise, and comfort is his key. If you need Invisalign, if you need a root canal, if you need a crown, teeth whitening, cleaning, cavity fills, he does it all. Set an appointment today by calling his phone number 419-666-3327 or visit his website at drzuhariandfisher.com. They have Fix My Smile. They can fix yours in half the time. All right, so since we are not doing a show tomorrow, it is the college football preview show. That's our college football preview show. Tonight on the docket will be the USC Trojans at home. They'll take on the against Washington. USC 17th in the country, 3-1, 1-1 in the Pac-12. Washington 2-2, 0-1 in the Pac-12. I will take the Trojans in this game. Saturday's games look like this. It'll be New Mexico taking on Ole Miss. Baylor is in Kansas. The Red River Shootout at the Cotton Bowl between Oklahoma and Texas. Illinois is in Iowa. Maryland is at Ohio State. That's a 12 o'clock kickoff. 3 o'clock, the University of Toledo. Toledo. Since we do our show in Toledo. We'll fight for you. Even though up in the corner there I have the UT poster. By the way, hi ladies. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. 3 o'clock kickoff for the homecoming game for Kent State and Toledo. 3:30 start time. Navy taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 3:30 kickoff between Northwestern and Michigan. 3:30 LSU taking on South Carolina. That game happening in Baton Rouge. Due to the rain and the conditions in South Carolina. Georgia's taking on Tennessee, 3:30 kickoff for that one. Georgia Tech taking on Clemson, number 6 in the country. Alabama taking on Arkansas at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock kickoff for Oklahoma State versus West Virginia. Boise State taking on Colorado State at 7 o'clock. 7:30 kickoff, TCU versus Kansas State. This is the top 25, by the way. Florida taking on Missouri. 8 o'clock kickoff on ABC, the ABC game. Miami taking on the number 12 ranked Florida Seminoles. 8 o'clock kickoff will be Michigan State taking on Rutgers, and Utah, the number 5 team in the country, taking on California at 10 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. In Mid-American Conference play as well too. We'll get into that in just a second. We'll preview those games. But in the Big Ten, it'll be Indiana. It's at Penn State. That's a noon kickoff for that one. Also, Wisconsin's in Nebraska. 3:30 kickoff for that one. At 3:30, it will be Minnesota at Purdue. So, looking at the Mid-American Conference. For the MAC, Central Michigan taking on Western Michigan. That's a noon kickoff. At 2 o'clock on ESPN3, homecoming weekend for the Bowling Green State University Falcons, the real Eastern Conference champions, and the real team, the real deal that could contend for the MAC championship, will take on UMass. 1-3, UMass taking on a 3-2 Bowling Green Falcon team. MAC play, the Bowling Green Falcons are 1-0, UMass is 0-0. 2 o'clock kickoff in Oxford, Miami taking on Ohio. Also at 3 o'clock, it will be Akron taking on Eastern Michigan. And at 3:30, NIU, the Northern Illinois Huskies, taking on the Ball State Fighting Football Cardinal team. So, you want my picks? You'll have to wait until tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow night we'll have our special. If you're following me on Facebook, you'll see my special picks. So go and friend me on Facebook. It is Andy_Alfred. Facebook.com, Andy.Alfred. Follow me on Facebook. You'll get my picks for this weekend in college football. So make sure you go out and look for it. Let's take a look at the NFL also for tonight as well too. The one game tonight on the Thursday night docket, 8:25 kickoff between the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. Down to Houston. I wonder what the rating's going to be like tonight between the Astros and the Texans. That's a good question. Who's going to have a better ranking? Answer that question on Twitter. Is at Andy Alfred. Who's going to have a better TV rating tonight? The Astros or the Texans? I might bet it's on the Texans. But Houston is hosting the Indianapolis Colts tonight, 8:25 on that game. Here's the slate of games in the NFL. Washington, the Football Club of Washington taking on the Atlanta Falcons. 1 o'clock kickoff for that one. Seattle is in Cincinnati. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff for that one. St. Louis taking on Green Bay, 1 o'clock. Kansas City is hosting the Chicago Bears. The Bears at 1 o'clock. Houston is taking on Philadelphia, 1 o'clock. Tampa Bay is taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. At 1 o'clock will be the Buffalo Bills taking on the Tennessee Titans. And at 1 o'clock in Baltimore, the Cleveland Browns take on the Baltimore Ravens. Take Baltimore in that game. Take Baltimore. 4:05 kickoffs. New England is in Dallas. That is going to be one of the best matchups of the night. 4:25 kickoff for that one. It'll be the New England Patriots and the Dallas Cowboys. A possible game to look at come playoff time for both teams. It will also be at 4:25. It will be the Denver Broncos taking on the Oakland Raiders. And at 4:05 tonight on Sunday evening, it will be the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Detroit Lions. Take the Cardinals. If you're a fan of the Lions, take the Lions. Like I am. I took the Lions. I have to take the Lions because they're my team. I'll take the Cardinals. If you're not a Lions fan, take the Lions. I'm taking the Lions. Sunday Night Football will be commencing from the Meadowlands as the New York Giants host the San Francisco 49ers. And then Monday's game will be the Pittsburgh Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger taking on Philip Rivers with the worthless Burgers. Not going to be in the lineup. He's worthless in this game. That's where my pun was going to go. He'll take on Philip Rivers and the San Diego Chargers. Go, Chargers, go! 8:30 kickoff on that one on Monday. So we'll break those games down for you, the college football and NFL games on Monday's edition of All Andy Alfred as well too. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the NBA and let's talk about the wine and gold and what happened last night at the Celeste Arena. Tonight they're taking on the 76ers in the Wells Fargo Arena in Philadelphia. Not going to be a very good crowd on hand for that one. Maybe a good crowd because of LeBron going to be in the lineup. But the Cavs were a loser to the Atlanta Hawks last night. They lost 98-96 in the game. So it's just one preseason game. Preseason. You're just testing out the water. The Magic were winner 197 of the Miami Heat. The Knicks are 181 victors against Palmo Baru. The Timberwolves lose to the Thunder 122-99. The Rockets a 109-82 victory over the Dallas Mavericks. And the Phoenix Suns a 102-98 victory over the Sacramento Kings. Tonight on the docket, besides the Cavs taking on the Sixers, the Magic are in Indiana to take on the Pacers. The Celtics win this afternoon in Real Madrid, and they win 111-96. The Nets take on the Pistons at 7:30 tonight. The Grizzlies take on Mavo Havla in Memphis. The Bulls are taking on the Denver Nuggets tonight at the 9 o'clock tip. The Lakers hosting the Raptors in Ontario, California. And then at 10 o'clock, it will be the Spurs taking on the Kings. And the Golden State Warriors will begin play. That's their 1-0 so far this preseason, taking on the 0-1 Trailblazers this evening. So, looking at also, got to pass this along to some Toledo Walleye news in their helm. Today they have released a couple players from their tryout camps. I wanted to pass this along to you fans, especially since we are now getting closer and closer to the preseason opener for the Walleye in their season. They have their preseason game Friday night. If you're not going to go to the Jacket game, or if you're not going to go to the bar and watch the Jackets, the Walleye $5 tickets, can't beat it, anywhere in the building. $5 gets you in to the Huntington Center on Friday night to take on the Kalamazoo Wings. The Walleye have released 4 players from who are on the camp's tryout page. For the Walleye, they have released the following players. The Walleye have released, of course, Mike Gunn on defense, Aaron Kesselman at the forward, Seth Rosenberg, who had a great tryout and great camp. And they cut ties with them. And also, they also released Garrett Sagras, another forward. That's 3 forwards, 1 defenseman cut from your Toledo Walleye. But don't forget, the Walleye home opener is not until into November 7th to be exact, to take on the Adirondack Thunder. Get your tickets by calling 419-725-WALL or ToledoWalleye.com, because remember, it's our fish, our fight. You get your tickets for tomorrow night's preseason game as well too by calling 419-725-WALL or head down to the Huntington Center box office. They got brand new gear at the Swamp Shop that's open. So we'll take a look at it. Some pretty nifty items as well too. Don't forget, tomorrow also the Lake Erie Monsters, if you're in the Cleveland area, are going to take on the Rochester Americans in their season debut as the new Columbus Blue Jacket affiliate. Cannot wait to see their home opener on the 16th. Fortunately, I will be in Columbus for the Maple Leaf game because my mom's a late Maple Leaf fan. Got her that present for her birthday. Got some great seats thanks to a good friend of mine. Thank you, by the way. So that's going to wrap it up for all Andy Alfred today. Of course, let's go to the Libby Factory Outlet, setting your table for tonight's games to watch. Of course, Indianapolis in Houston tonight, 8:25 on CBS and also on NFL Network. You also have the one game in the NHL that will be on the national page. It will be Minnesota taking on Colorado. That game on NBCSN, 9 o'clock puck drop for that one. Also, if you have the NHL Game Center tonight, 7 o'clock drop between the Ottawa Senators and the Buffalo Sabres. Cannot wait. Tomorrow, Jacket game, 200 West Nationwide Boulevard. If you follow me on Twitter, if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. We'll be stepping you through the paces of tomorrow's home opener between the Jackets and the Rangers. So looking forward to being with you, the fifth line, tomorrow at Nationwide Arena. I hope I get to see all of you good friends and good people down there at Nationwide Arena for the player carpeting issue as well too. We're planning on maybe periscoping the carpet ceremony tomorrow. You might see it, you might not. I don't know off the top of my head. But I am so looking forward to tomorrow's game. So looking forward to this weekend. Getting to see my girlfriend having a mini vacation from the day-to-day life and enjoying hockey and being with the fans that I love and care about. that's going to wrap it up for all Andy Alfred today. I hope you enjoyed this program today. I will see you guys next week for another edition of All Andy Alfred. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Also to follow me on Twitter. It is at All Andy Alfred. Go Jackets! Go Walleye! Go Cavs! Let's go Falcons! Let's go Lions and Browns. We gotta get some wins. Oh, help me out. And go Cubs, go. That's gonna wrap it up for All Andy Alfred today. And as always, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. Game of life. And to the teams behind me and to your team that you root for at home as well. Victory is sweetest when you have tasted defeat. Have a great evening, everybody. I will see you on Monday for another edition, and another full week edition of All Andy Alfred, right here on your exclusive home for me, ClayFan23. Love you guys. Talk to you guys next week. Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot. Ducks they quack, and fish go blood, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's no sound that no one knows. What does the fox say?